Most new planted aquariums from new hobbyists fail for the exact same 5 reasons. In this video, I'm going to give you the top 5 planted aquarium mistakes and how to avoid them in the first place. It's going to be a no fluff, no BS guide. So before we dive right into it, just like the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps get my content out to a wider audience. All right, let's get started with the guide. Number 1 on our list is rushing the nitrogen cycle. So you're probably familiar with the nitrogen cycle of a planted aquarium at this point. If not, there's plenty of videos on YouTube to fill you in, but basically you're establishing beneficial bacteria in your filter and your soil that take the waste that your fish, shrimp, and plants produce and convert it into something that's safe and non-toxic. Without that cycle, you've got lots of toxins in the form of ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate building up, which can kill your livestock. So if you rush that process or you try and do a fish-in cycle, which is just outdated and cruel, you're not gonna get great results and you're gonna kill animals, which it's just not cool and there's no excuse. So be patient with your cycle. Once you gain a little bit of experience in this hobby, you'll be able to take more of a qualitative approach. You won't have to measure anything. But in the beginning, it's not a bad idea to just pick up some test kits, test for ammonia, test for nitrite, test for nitrate. And then once your ammonia reads 0 and your nitrite reads 0 and you read some nitrate, you know your tank is cycled. That can take anywhere from 3 weeks to 10 weeks. It really just depends on the aquarium. So don't rush it. The worst thing you can do is go to a store, see a bunch of things you like, and on day 1, set it all up. Take your time, start out with just planting the aquarium, and then give it several weeks. Be patient, and you'll be rewarded for it. Number 2 on our list is not planting enough. I get a ton of comments saying, hey, take a look at my tank. What's wrong with it? How come I have these issues? The reality is that's not very much plant mass. And I totally understand and empathize with you if you're a newer hobbyist. I made the same mistake in the beginning. I would go to my local big box pet store. I would just buy a few specimens of whatever was available. And then I'd wonder why things didn't look amazing and why I had algae. The reality is you want to completely cover your soil as much as you can on day 1. The denser you plant from the start, the more biomass you have to fight against algae and absorb any excess nutrients and toxins in the aquarium. Plants are going to be fantastic at that. So I know you're probably on a limited budget if you're new to this hobby, but the reality is most of the aquariums I set up, I'm usually spending anywhere from $100 to $300 on plants. I know that sounds like a lot, but there's so many great ways to get plants for cheap. Join hobbyist groups in Facebook, meet up with other hobbyists and trade. You don't have to spend what I spend, but if you can cover every inch of soil on day 1, you're gonna really set yourself up for success. You're gonna have a tank that looks beautiful, and you're gonna have a tank that is biologically balanced way faster. Number 3 on our list is avoiding CO2 and falling into the liquid CO2 myth. So first of all, I've talked about this in many of my videos. I'm not going to do a deep dive on CO2, but the reality is plants are mostly made up of carbon. So if you don't give them carbon, they're just going to look so-so, and a lot of the time they'll even struggle in a closed system like an aquarium. So if you bypass CO2, don't expect incredible results that necessarily match up with what you see on social media and YouTube videos. Yes, there are some hobbyists out there who don't use CO2, but you don't know every detail and you don't know how long they have those aquariums set up for. So I'm trying to set you up for the highest chance of success. So drawing on individual anecdotal examples, it's just not the scientific approach. If you want to set yourself up for success, injecting pressurized CO2 is like giving your plants steroids. It's going to allow them to thrive and make more plant, because remember, plants are mostly made of carbon. So you have to give them a carbon source. And to address the elephant in the room, liquid carbon, there's no such thing. All those bottles that market themselves as a pressurized CO2 alternative, it's a myth and it's not based on real science. I've done an entire deep dive on it. I'll link that video in the description. You can get into the science of it you want, but the reality is that those products are just made of something called glutaraldehyde. And glutaraldehyde is used in laboratories and healthcare environments to sterilize. So it kills fungus, it kills algae, it basically kills life. And at very diluted low levels, which is what these bottles that are sold in the aquarium trade contain, it's gonna kill some of your algae. So it ends up being a confounding variable. But if you follow the instructions in the bottle, it's a great thing to use in conjunction with pressurized CO2. It's just no substitute whatsoever. Number 4 on our list is using too small of a filter. One of the most underrated, not talked about enough topics in the aquarium hobby is circulation, flow, and filtration. The bigger the filter you can use, the better biological system you're gonna have in your tank, the better circulation you're gonna have to get that CO2 around, to get those nutrients spread out, to prevent detritus from settling. It does nothing but good for your aquarium. And unfortunately, a lot of hobbyists, they're on a tight budget, which is understandable. They buy the smallest, cheapest filter that's gonna work for their tank. The reality is you want 6 to 10 times turnover of your system every hour. And you have to understand that the numbers on the back of that filter are totally inflated. So you kind of have to do a little bit of research and find out what the actual turnover rate is. But I'm a huge proponent of getting large external canister filters. And then if you need to, get a filter that allows you to reduce the flow a little bit. So cannot recommend the external canister filter enough. What I don't recommend are sponge filters. And if you're gonna go the hang on back route, which can be great, get a big one that can house a lot of beneficial bacteria and that has decent flow so that you can ensure your circulation is adequate. And number 5 on our list is adjusting too much at once. Classic story of a new aquarium hobbyist is you set up your aquarium, you get a little bit antsy, you're like, hey, why is it not looking lush and beautiful like what I see online? You adjust the lighting, you turn up the CO2, you add more ferts, maybe even do all that in the same day. And the reality is that this isn't good and it prevents you from really narrowing down what's working and what's not working. And it's also stressing out your plants, stressing out your animals. What you want to do is take the scientific method approach and adjust one thing at a time, sit back, wait 10 to 14 days, observe, and then go from there. So set up your aquarium, set the lighting for 7 hours, make sure that the drop checker for your CO2 is reaching lime green no later than 2 hours after light on, and make sure you're following the dosing instructions for your fertilizer. Keep that system for weeks. If things aren't to your liking, adjust one thing at a time, wait 2 weeks and go from there. For example, if your plants are looking maybe a little bit pale and leggy, like they're searching for light, adjust your lighting by 10%. Keep the photo period at 7 hours and then wait 2 weeks. If they're still not responding, up it again 10 days later. If that's not working, keep that lighting where it's at, add more ferts, as opposed to adjusting everything at once. So I know you're excited as a new hobbyist, and I know you want to have amazing results because this hobby is so beautiful when it works out well, but if you adjust everything at once, it's just gonna cause you a lot of pain and confusion, and you're probably gonna quit and get overwhelmed. So I bring all these tips to you to hopefully keep you in this hobby and prevent you from falling into some of the traps that many of us did when we first got into the hobby, because those folks that persevered and are now thriving in this hobby and have set up beautiful aquariums, such as myself, we've all had to go through this process. So just trying to save you a little bit of time. I'd love for you to share one of your tips down below in the comments and help out one of your fellow hobbyists. So thanks so much for watching the video. Please go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. It just helps get my content out to a wider audience and motivates me to keep making these videos. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you guys and gals next time.